GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. A 70-year-old woman was seriously injured after a collision at Markham Road in the 401, and the TTC is rolling out AI camera streetcars to curb illegal passing. Traffic's moderate with construction, and Sleep Country Canada is expanding south. Over to you, Nathan.
The annual Toronto Street Art Festival will open Saturday on Queen Street West, featuring over 30 local muralists and live music from noon to 6.
Tickets are free, and families can participate in interactive graffiti walls, guided tour, and pop-up art workshops each afternoon throughout the two-day event.
The festival continues Sunday evening, concluding with a community mural unveiling and a fireworks display scheduled for 8 p.m. near the waterfront park.
Sounds like a colorful weekend ahead, Jordan, and a lot for Torontonians to truly enjoy, but first the news. Good morning, Toronto.
Yesterday night, a woman in her 70s was struck by a vehicle at the Markham Road and Highway 401 interchange in Scarborough just before 9:30 p.m. Toronto Police Service responded quickly, closing the northbound lanes of the highway while emergency crews treated the victim on scene. Paramedics transported her to a nearby hospital where doctors said her injuries are serious but not life-threatening. Police are investigating the crash and have asked drivers to avoid the area as traffic patterns remain altered. The closure is expected to last several hours while investigators piece together the circumstances of the collision. No other vehicles were reported injured, and authorities have not released further details about the driver involved. Northbound traffic resumed early Saturday after crews cleared the scene. Officers noted that visibility had been reduced by recent rain, though weather was not cited as a contributing factor.
City Council today voted to approve a suite of infrastructure projects in Liberty Village, a dense mixed-use neighborhood that has been pressing for more services. The approved plan includes a new community center, a Canada Post service point, and a new school, each designed to ease traffic flow and add essential amenities for residents. Officials say the community center will host recreation programs and meeting rooms, while the post point will streamline deliveries in the area's growing condo towers. The school aims to accommodate the neighborhood's expanding families, reducing the need for students to travel farther for education. City planners also expect the upgrades to calm rush hour congestion along the nearby King Street corridor. The projects are slated to move forward with design work beginning this fall, and construction is expected to start early next year, bringing much-needed upgrades to the bustling district.
Police say a 21-year-old woman was taken into custody early this morning after her vehicle struck a hydro pole at the intersection of Islington Avenue and Aylesbury Road in Etobicoke. Officers responded to reports of a crash just after 1:30 a.m., where the impact caused the pole to collapse and live wires to fall across the roadway. The Toronto Police Service arrested the driver on charges of impaired driving. TPS dispatched units to the scene within minutes, and Toronto Hydro crews arrived to de-energize the fallen lines and begin repairs. No serious injuries were reported, though the downed wires prompted a temporary power outage for nearby residents. Power was restored to the affected block by early afternoon. The investigation confirmed that alcohol impairment was a factor in the collision, and the suspect remains in custody at Toronto Police Headquarters pending a bail hearing.
TTC launched an AI-assisted camera pilot on downtown streetcars Tuesday, aiming to curb illegal vehicle passing. Cameras are now operating on routes 501, 504, 505, 506, and 511, covering 5 routes in total. The system uses real-time image analysis to spot cars that weave around or run red lights to get ahead of streetcars, automatically flagging violations for enforcement. TTC officials say the technology will boost safety for riders and drivers and reduce traffic disruptions that have plagued the core streets for years. The pilot announced by the agency on Tuesday will run through the summer while data is collected and performance evaluated. If successful, the commission plans to expand the AI cameras to additional routes citywide. City officials will monitor the results closely before making a final decision.
Wildfire crews are battling an unprecedented blaze across Ontario as more than 7,250 square kilometers of forest have already burned, eclipsing the previous record set in 2021. The flames, driven by hot, dry conditions, continue to spread through remote northern woodlands, prompting evacuations and air quality alerts in several nearby communities. Provincial fire officials say the season is now the worst on record, with fire activity outpacing last year's historic surge. Over 3,000 personnel, including municipal volunteers and federal resources, are on the ground, employing water bombers, ground crews, and satellite monitoring to contain hotspots. Smoke plumes are drifting southward, affecting air quality in the Greater Toronto Area and prompting health advisories. Authorities stress that the situation remains fluid and that residents should stay informed through official channels.
Later, we'll hear why Salsa on St. Clair remains closed for safety fixes, plus more top headlines. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. That was a quick break. Now let's dive into what's happening in our city. Nathan, take us through the local stories.
Police say the popular Salsa on St. Clair Street dance will remain shut until safety concerns are resolved. Officers investigated a possible gunfire exchange between two people in the crowd Monday night, prompting the decision. Organizers confirmed the event, which draws large weekly crowds, will not resume until the police-identified risks are addressed. The closure affects residents who often stroll through the neighborhood on weekend evenings, as the gathering has become a regular social outlet for families and young adults. Police have not released further details about the investigation, but the incident underscores why the city's public space events rely on clear safety protocols. Officials hope the venue can reopen once corrective measures are in place, allowing the community to enjoy the music and dancing again. Nearby businesses also noted a dip in foot traffic during the usual Saturday night hours, showing how closely the dance ties into local commerce.
Yesterday, disability advocates slammed Metrolinx for still lacking an elevator that would link Line 1 with the new Line 6 at Finch West Station. The group says the only access option, a ramp, falls short of true accessibility, giving commuters a false sense of inclusion. Without an elevator, wheelchair users must navigate steep stairs to transfer between the two lines, complicating daily trips to work, school, or medical appointments. Metrolinx has acknowledged the concern, but says a permanent solution is under review. The controversy keeps the issue front and center as the Finch West LRT ramps up service, and advocates are pressing for a concrete plan before the next wave of riders arrives. The station's current configuration remains a barrier for many Torontonians who rely on barrier-free transit. For residents who depend on the subway LRT connection, the missing lift translates into longer travel times and added physical strain.
The McMichael Canadian Art Collection announced it will shut its doors next month for a landmark redevelopment that will stretch up to 3 years, extending through 2029. Partnering with Hariri Pontarini Architects, the museum plans to add roughly 60% more exhibition space and upgrade its galleries, climate control, and visitor amenities. Regular visitors can expect a longer wait for the expanded facilities, which aim to accommodate larger shows and improve accessibility. The temporary closure will affect school field trips, weekend family outings, and local tourism that rely on the collection's iconic Canadian works. While the institution remains closed, it will continue to loan pieces to other venues, keeping the art in public view. Officials say the project will position the museum as a modern cultural hub for the region once doors reopen.
Police in Kingston opened an investigation yesterday after St. John the Apostle Catholic Church reported that more than $630,000 had been withdrawn from its accounts. Detectives say the missing funds were taken in a series of transactions that raise questions about internal controls. Church officials have not released details about who had access to the accounts, but they confirmed the loss was discovered during a routine audit. The investigation is being led by the Kingston Police Financial Crimes Unit, which is reviewing bank records and interviewing staff. No arrests have been made and authorities have not identified a suspect at this stage. Parishioners are being kept informed as the probe continues, and the church has pledged to cooperate fully with investigators. The case remains open for further inquiry.
Marineland began moving 6 beluga whales today, sending 3 to the Shed Aquarium in Chicago and 3 to SeaWorld in San Antonio. The transfer, which started on July 20th, is proceeding under tight supervision as the animals travel by specialized transport trucks and chartered aircraft. Officials say the move is part of a plan to address long-standing concerns about marine mammal care at the Ontario Park. For families who visit Marineland on weekend trips, the sight of the large tanks now empty signals a shift in the park's animal program. Veterinarians accompanying the whales monitor health indicators around the clock, and the aquariums receiving them have prepared habitats designed to meet the species' specific needs. The relocation is expected to continue over the next several days as each vessel reaches its destination.
Now let's check the afternoon outlook and see what the sky has in store for us.
A low-pressure trough and a southwest jet are dragging moisture across the city, sparking afternoon showers. On this date, Toronto's all-time heat peak sits at 38.2 Celsius, recorded in 2011 during an unprecedented midsummer heat wave that pushed the city well above its normal summer highs. The cold extreme is 15.3 Celsius, set in 2007 when an Arctic air mass surged southward, plunging temperatures into early-season territory. By contrast, today's climate normals hover around 23 Celsius for the high and 15 Celsius for the low, underscoring how today's modest 21 Celsius sits comfortably between those historic bounds. The live radar shows a band of moderate rain moving eastward across the Greater Toronto Area, anchored over the lake shore and streaming toward the city center. The heaviest echoes sit just north of the downtown core, timing for a peak around 1 o'clock. With the southwest jet steering the system, the rain will taper off by 9 o'clock, leaving a lingering overcast veil. The scene is clear enough to hand off to today's forecast. At noon, the city sits under a low-pressure center that is falling, pulling warm, humid air from the south and feeding the developing rain band. The southwest jet streams overhead at 74 kilometers per hour, injecting additional moisture and steering the showers inland. Temperatures read 21 Celsius, humidity 90%, and clouds cover roughly 66%, making the air feel muggy. Light southerly breezes of 6 kilometers per hour gust to 19, but the strongest gusts will climb to 39 kilometers per hour from the southwest as the front passes. The ultraviolet index holds at 3 and no weather alerts are in effect. Rain will begin shortly, peak near 1, then gradually diminish, clearing the sky by 9, leaving a damp but calm evening. Looking ahead, Wednesday brings another overcast day with a high near 20 Celsius and a low around 13, as the lingering low pressure keeps clouds in place. Thursday shifts dramatically as high pressure builds, delivering clear skies and a warm high of 24 Celsius, while overnight lows remain comfortable at 13. Friday continues the dry trend, bright sunshine and a peak of 25 Celsius, low 15, perfect for outdoor activities. Saturday reintroduces cloud cover, pushing the high to 27 and the low to 19, a reminder that lake-enhanced moisture can return even under a modest ridge. Sunday caps the week with mostly clear conditions, high 27, low 21, and a 20% chance of rain in the evening, signaling a brief late-day pulse. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's mixed with construction, the Argonauts eye a new defensive signing, and Sleep Country expands north. More coming up, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Collision on Rowena Drive and Welsford Gardens has forced Bus 24 onto a detour via Herons Hill Way and Yorkland Road. Drivers should expect an additional 15 minutes in that area as the bus and surrounding traffic navigate the change. Fleet Street remains closed between Angelique Street and Strachan Avenue, diverting all east-west flow onto King Street and Jarvis. Meanwhile, Queen Street West is shut down about 43 meters west of Yonge, pushing vehicles onto University and Richmond. Elsewhere, the main corridors, Highway 420, the Don Valley Parkway and Bloor, are moving freely, so commuters can rely on those routes for a smoother ride this afternoon. On transit, An overhead fault has halted streetcar 506 between Queen East at Kingston and Queen at Coxwell, leaving riders to transfer to the nearby 506 East or bus alternatives. GO Lakeshore West trains are running about 30 minutes late, affecting east-west commuters. Plan accordingly.
IVE is set to light up Scotiabank Arena later this week with their Show What I Am World Tour debut, a must-see for anyone who's ever caught a K-pop beat. If you're not into pop, the Toronto International Film Festival is already in full swing, turning the spotlight on homegrown talent with a gala and special presentations that showcase everything from Chris Rock's latest comedy to a Canadian-focused documentary on director Villeneuve. And the festival isn't stopping there. Fresh announcements this morning added a Margaret Qualley romance and a Mahershala Ali action thriller to the lineup, giving movie lovers a taste of the diverse stories heading to the big screen. So whether you're planning a night out for a high-energy concert or a quiet evening with a new film, the city's cultural calendar is buzzing with options. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Here's the latest Toronto sports headlines, from the CFL to the WNBA and MLB. Sportsnet reports the Argonauts are close to adding defensive line depth by signing veteran defensive lineman Sean Lemon. The move would bolster Toronto's front seven as the club prepares for the upcoming CFL schedule, though the deal remains unconfirmed at this time. According to Sportsnet, the Toronto Tempo concluded the inaugural season's first half with a loss. The squad now looks ahead to the WNBA All-Star break, hoping a mental and physical reset will ready them for a stronger push in the second half of the campaign. Blue Jays manager John Schneider told media he expects his club to pick itself up after recent struggles, emphasizing the effort shown and the need for resilience. Sportsnet notes Schneider's message centers on maintaining intensity as Toronto works to rebound in the coming games.
Sleep Country Canada, the downtown Toronto mattress retailer, is making headlines this week. After years of helping Torontonians find the perfect night's rest, the company has taken its Canadian-style service across the border by acquiring Sleep Number in a court-supervised sale. The move gives the brand its first major foothold in the United States, expanding the job base and bringing new supply chain opportunities back to our city. For the neighborhood around its flagship store, the expansion means more hiring, local partnerships with manufacturers, and a boost to the downtown retail ecosystem. It's a reminder that a business built on comfort can also fuel growth, proving Toronto's entrepreneurial spirit sleeps soundly on the world stage. And later, we'll share how 6 beluga whales are finding new homes across the border. Stay tuned for that uplifting tale.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local Sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
Toronto just released the FIFA World Cup 2026 schedule, and the city will host 6 matches, including Canada's first men's World Cup game on home soil at the new Toronto Stadium at Exhibition Place. The excitement is building as fans prepare for the historic kickoff. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on the concourse of Toronto Stadium, the summer sun glinting off the steel arches, and a sea of maple leaf flags ripples along the concrete steps. The stadium is buzzing as volunteers hoist banners announcing the 6 FIFA World Cup 2026 matches that will soon light up this venue. On June 12, 2026, Canada's men's team will step onto this pitch for their first World Cup match at home, taking on the European playoff winner. Later, fans will watch Ghana versus Panama, Germany against Côte d'Ivoire, Panama versus Croatia, Senegal versus Iraq, and a round of 32 clash on July 2, 2026. The air smells of grass and street vendor pretzels, while nearby waterfront promenade hums with tourists snapping selfies against the backdrop of the exhibition grounds. This tournament turns stadium into a crossroads of cultures, where local pride meets global passion. For Canadians, watching the first home soil World Cup match will be a moment they'll tell their grandchildren about. Carl Dumont, virtually at Toronto Stadium at Exhibition Place.
Here in the heart of the downtown core, on a crisp Tuesday morning, I'm standing outside the historic St. Lawrence Market where a small group of neighborhood volunteers have gathered with coffee cups and clipboards. They're the same volunteers who, after hearing concerns from local residents, helped file an integrity complaint about a provincial representative's use of public funds. The scene is simple: a kettle of steaming chai, a stack of printed flyers, and the soft hum of a streetcar passing by. One volunteer, a retired schoolteacher named Maria, told me she felt a deep responsibility to protect the community's trust. She and her neighbors spent the afternoon reviewing the paperwork, making sure every detail was clear, and then walked together to the Integrity Commissioner's office, their footsteps echoing a shared belief that public service should be transparent. The moment that mattered most was when the commissioner's office sent a reply, confirming an investigation will proceed, and the volunteers exchanged smiles, knowing their voices had been heard. It's a reminder that ordinary people, when they come together, can keep our city accountable and hopeful.
On the quiet edge of Toronto, at Maplehurst Correctional Facility in Milton, a restless night in mid-2023 sparked a chain of events that would end up reshaping a handful of lives. When a disturbance erupted, staff moved swiftly, strip-searching around 200 men, securing them with zip ties, and deploying pepper spray to restore order. The clatter of metal and the hiss of the spray lingered in the corridors, but what followed was a quieter, more hopeful process. A provincial review team, armed with fresh footage and testimonies, re-examined the incidents and found that several convictions had been overly harsh. Among them, a murder conviction from 2022 was reduced, offering a chance for the family to begin healing. The decision sparked quiet celebrations in the visiting room, where relieved relatives embraced and whispered thanks to the officials who listened. It reminded us that even in the toughest places, the system can correct itself and give people a second chance. Tonight, as the sun sets over the lakefront, we are reminded that compassion can surface where we least expect it.
Thanks for joining us, Toronto. Today's look at the TTC's new AI camera pilot on streetcars showed how technology can help curb illegal passing. We appreciate your trust in the lunch break and look forward to bringing you more local stories tomorrow. Stay safe and see you then.